Welcome to the Six Figure Influencer Podcast. I'm thrilled that you are here. I'm not going to lie, this is now the third time I've tried recording this episode. First time was yesterday, and I got about 3 minutes in, and my computer told me that I was out of storage, which honestly is totally my fault because it keeps telling me that. But I just think storage is going to magically appear, apparently. And that's not how computers work. And then just a second ago, I got a few minutes in, and luckily I was having a hard time getting the words to flow. So I stopped. I went to go delete that video because of said storage situation. And I noticed that my mic wasn't recorded or hooked up anyway. So let's hope third time's a charm. And I feel like today's episode is going to be nice, short, and sweet for you anyway, which I know you're not upset about hearing about because I'm sure you are quite busy. But the title of this might have caught you off guard, right? Because if you've been a listener of this podcast for a hot minute, I have actually recorded episodes all about like dropping perfectionism, doing B- work, like showing up anyway, just doing the darn thing. And now it seems like I might be changing my tune, right? So yeah, I have something to say here. I have a perspective to share. This is not going to be for everybody right now, but it will be for everybody at some point in their journey. This is going to make sense in just a moment. All that to say, whether you're new in your business or you're more seasoned, definitely listen because at some point, this concept, I truly believe, absolutely applies to you. And it's going to serve you if you really take this in and think about it. All right. So let me set the stage for you and how I came to this kind of realization. And this wasn't, I've been thinking about this for quite some time, but something specific happened a couple of days ago that made me want to talk about this now. So first and foremost, you need to understand that content creation for me has always been something that I wouldn't say I've struggled with, but I'm not like one of those natural content creators. And if you're newer to my world, you might think that's weird that I'm saying that. But what I mean by that is, there are people out there who have this gift where they can just crank out good stuff, good captions, great e-blasts. They can just write and it comes out and it makes sense or it just works for them. I don't consider myself that kind of person. I've always been the kind of creator who it takes effort for me. It always has. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I used to spend hours agonizing over a blog, hours, literal hours agonizing over the wording of an Instagram post. Now, and let's not forget the podcast. Oh my gosh, I used to script every single episode for like the first, 15, 20 episodes. You want to talk about, days of work for one piece of content. And, it's something that I've dealt with. And through sheer grit and perseverance, it has gotten a bit easier because when you do something enough, it gets easier. But I still, to this day, I go to write something and that feeling of where it flows. That's like the best way I can describe it, where it just flows out of you and it's so easy. Those posts are very few and far between. Sometimes they happen. Sometimes it happens in a podcast, but most of the time it takes effort. Okay. You need to know where I'm coming from here. So all of this makes sense. So the other day, I knew that I needed to make a post and I've had it on my to-do list. So I sat down and I did it. And I had to stop what I was doing and come back to this freaking post like 3 different times. I knew what I wanted to say. I knew the message that I wanted to get out to you. I knew what I wanted it to look like, to feel like, to all the things, but couldn't quite get it there. And it was so frustrating. And I almost didn't post it, right? It was just one of those things. And I was totally like, okay, Allie, you're being such a perfectionist right now. You need to get over yourself. You know better. But I knew what I wanted this to be. And I wanted to get it right for you. Okay. And like anything that I do, that is the energy I'm putting behind it. I just want it to, I need it to be right for you. So anyway, I finally like finish this post. I put it out, I post it. And it is a hit. For me and my level of engagement and how my engagement has been lately, it is like viral-ish for me. Okay? I'm talking like over double the amount of engagement that I typically get. And you loved it. It was good. Okay? And I was looking at the analytics of this one post the other day, and it just kind of dawned on me that like this is why I put in the effort that I do. And it's funny because that day that I was going to make this post, before I finished it, I went to make a story talking about like, hey, if you struggle creating content, if this is something that you struggle with yourself, just know I do too. You know, it's just, it is what it is. Like just push through. But I didn't have a chance to post it. I didn't get that far. I had like a meeting and I got sidetracked. So I didn't post it, but it's just funny because like, I wish I had, because I talked about like how frustrating this specific post was. So anyway, it got amazing engagement. So let me just tell you the level of engagement this post has gotten so far. It's been posted for 2 days now. As of today, it has gotten 2,898 likes, 66 comments, 438 shares, 469 saves, and this one post has gotten me 136 new followers. The amount of accounts that saw this post is over 20,000, almost 21,000 individual accounts saw this post. Why I'm sharing that is because this is the power of just one piece of content when you get it right. Okay? You have heard me say this, and I'm going to say it again and again. They cannot all be hits. I cannot tell you how many times I have created something and I know in my soul, this is the one. This is the one that's going to be featured on somebody famous's page. You know, it's going to get picked up. All the little fluffy things we like to fantasize about in our heads. Maybe just me. But then it's not, it's a flop. That happens a lot. But this one, like I did it. It did what I wanted it to do. And I want to share this with you because there's this common narrative that you hear a lot, which is this whole like B- work, progress over perfection, do it messy, just do it type vibe. And there is a reason why we say these things. This is important. This is something that you do want to adopt. This is an attitude that you want to adopt mostly in the beginning of your business. Because in the beginning of your business, you just need to get started. In the beginning of your business, especially for somebody with perfectionist type tendencies like myself, like so many of you have shared this with me, you just need to show up. That is the work, right? Like that is the big win, is you just like putting something out there because it's new, because it's hard, because it's nerve-wracking, because you're not good at it yet. If you try and make things perfect in the beginning, you're going to make yourself mad. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. But at some point, I've been talking about evolving a lot lately. It's kind of been a theme lately, but at some point, your business evolves with you. You grow as a business owner. Your business hopefully also grows along with you, which means that not only should your strategies evolve, not only should your offers evolve, but in addition to many other things, but also your content and how you present yourself and the quality of what you put out into the world should also evolve. I get asked all the time, how often should I post? What is the magic number? Instagram says I need to post twice a day, every single day of the week. X amount of reels, so many stories, What's the answer? What do I do? Tell me what to do. Just tell me the number. And I say the same thing every single time. There is no magic number. Here's why. Because you can put out 7 posts a day, every single day, but if they are crap, it's going to do nothing for you. It is going to hurt your business and it's going to hurt your engagement. You have to understand how the algorithm works. Instagram only pushes content that performs well. You have to get good engagement first in the first few seconds to get even more engagement. Instagram it's only going to push out your stuff to more people if you're getting good engagement. If you're putting out subpar, basic, I'm not going to say imperfect because it's not about being perfect, but you know when it is not your best. You're just putting out basic content. It's not going to be pushed because there are people out there who are really trying, who are really putting in the work, who, because they do that, because they really try, it resonates with their audience. They get quick engagement and Instagram shows their stuff before yours. Okay. This is why I always say it's not about the amount that you post. It is always and forever quality over quantity. In the beginning of your business, you are doing your best just by showing up. And that is such a win. But at some point, it needs to shift from doing your best by showing up to only giving your best when you show up. Okay, shift from, yay, participation award to yay, you did something. Like you really put in effort. You really took the time. For some people, this is easy. Again, they have that gene, they have that gift. For other people like myself, this requires work. This requires effort. But what I want to share with you is if one piece of content has the potential to reach that many brand new people just from, let's say, an hour, maybe let's say 2 hours of your time, is that not worth it to you? Give me another example, another time when something you create can be put in front of 20,000 people that isn't an ad, that you're not paying for. Social media gets a bad rap. It can feel so trivial sometimes, especially in the grand scheme, especially with everything going on. But if you are serious about growing a business on these platforms, you have to play the game. You have to. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be aware of best practices, and you have to put in the effort if you want to have the potential to win. This is how people learn. This is how your own audience learns about the promotion you have going on this week. This is how brand new, very aligned leads see your face for the first time, a first impression. What do you want that to be? Something that you barely tried on, that you're just pushing out because you wanted to hit some arbitrary number that you heard in a random article? Or do you want them to see your very best work? So it's all about like this concept of, your business is going to perform in compared to like how much effort you put into it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you don't put in a lot of effort, it's not going to work very well, like especially on social media. So B- work is amazing at a certain level of your business. That's just it. It's how it has to be. But at some point, it is time to drop the B- work. We're not kids anymore. We don't want participation trophies, right? At some point, you have to take this seriously. And your job as a business owner who wants to grow on social media, your job is to create not content, but good content. I've been talking about the Pareto Principle a lot. If you're not sure what the Pareto Principle is, it's this study that they found that 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions, which is actually really cool if you think about it. Because again, if anybody is like me, you put so much on your to-do list, or I've gotten a lot better about this now, but I used to put so much on my to-do list, and I used to, I don't know, just like almost make it so much harder than it needed to be. When in reality, it's only a handful of my daily actions that are going to create the actual results in my business, the results that matter, that are actually going to produce income or serve you, right? So for you, as somebody who, I assume if you're listening to this, you have some sort of online business, one of your 20% actions that's going to produce the results is your social media, is your content. So it behooves you to really put in that effort. Okay. If you're wondering, if you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, okay, I hear you. I believe this. I'm putting in the effort. I really do try, but it's not working for me. I want to give you permission just to like pause a moment, take off this pressure that you've put on yourself. And if you need to take a day off from posting, like do that. Okay, take a breather and then go back. And I want you to take an objective look at what you create and what you put out into the world. I want you to look macro, like at your whole aesthetic, your whole feed, and then micro, like the individual pieces of content that you put out there. Is it up to the standard that you want for your business? Is it comparative to, maybe there's somebody that you look up to, maybe there's somebody in your industry who gets incredible engagement, right? Like whatever they're doing, it just works. How does it compare to that person? And don't freak out. I'm not like asking, I know I am literally asking you to compare yourself, but just for this one time, because it's very easy to be very biased and blind to what we put out, because we know, oh, I did. I tried. I really tried. I spent like 3 hours on that thing and I put it out there, right? Like it has to be good. But maybe it's just not. At the end of the day, maybe it's just not. And guess what? Like I already said, I still deal with this. There are plenty of times that what I think is my best, it didn't perform very well because I lost sight of what really works, what people are drawn to. So look as objectively as you possibly can at your stuff. And then I want you to then go and see what does work in your feed. Just based on the level of engagement that you get right now. I don't care if it's objectively good or bad. If you think it's good engagement or bad engagement, I want you just to compare your posts among each other. And I want you to see, okay, what out of these type of posts, what does my audience like the most? So I just did this with a client of mine. And what we noticed about her content is, surprise, surprise, her audience really liked reels. They liked pictures of her, and they really liked those tweet style of posts. Okay. And the one that I posted, I think I shared that. Maybe I didn't, but the post that worked really well for me, that got all that engagement, was it was a tweet style post. It looked like a tweet. That was the image. It looked like a tweet. It was a tweet. I ended up tweeting it, but yeah, but that's what it looks like. That's the style. And her audience really likes that too. I've noticed those work. And I said, okay, cool. Your audience is telling you what they like. Create more of that. Give them more of what they want. How can we take that and make it better? And if you look at your stuff and you're not really noticing any differences, go be curious. Go look at an account of somebody in a similar niche, in a similar industry. That's not going to trigger you and make you feel really bad about yourself. Go look at their content and see what works. What, is it? I can guarantee you it's probably not IGTVs that's working really well right now. That's just not, it's not necessarily what people want. I mean, we don't really want that right now. We want short content, but it's also not the content that Instagram is incentivizing us to use. Instagram is directly competing with TikTok, as we all know, and how they're doing that is they're incentivizing real users, real creators, REEL, people that are creating reels. They're incentivizing and they're pushing the engagement to those creators. So these are things that you need to take into account. If you're not creating reels, you're not playing the game. That's not to say you can't be successful. I know a few accounts that do not create reels that get amazing engagement, but they also have stellar brands and they've been around for a while and they just have amazing know and trust with their audience that they can kind of play by their own rules. That is not me. That's not a lot of people listening to this. If it's you, amazing. Do you. But for the rest of us, you got to play the game. It is what it is. If you want to use this platform for free to reach that many people, you have to know the rules and then play by them and take it seriously and put in effort. Because listen, in the beginning, it may not click immediately. And it's freaking frustrating. It's really frustrating when you have so many other things on your plate. You have a family. It's a lot. But practice makes perfect. We're not going for perfect, but you know what I mean. Practice makes perfect. And over time, you're going to start to get it. You're going to get better. You have to get better if you take it seriously, just like anything else. And at some point, you are going to start noticing patterns in what your audience likes. You're going to start building more of a rapport with your audience. Engagement begets engagement. And over time, if your engagement keeps steadily growing, it's going to keep steadily growing as long as you are putting out that same level or better of work. Okay? So I hope this inspired you. Again, this isn't about perfectionism. I am not saying that if you're not spending hours on posts, you're doing it wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. This is going to look different for every single person. I'm just saying if it means something to you, act like it. Put in the effort. Shift from doing your best to show up to only giving your best when you show up. It's a very, very big difference. Okay. I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you here next week. Bye.